Okay, so I wanted to make this recording because earlier this day I went out and I hung out with the guys and some other people. We were just simply talking about all the recent stuff that we've gone to for the past while. We talked about Disney, we talked about Nintendo, we talked about a few shoujo. I think we even talked about a few other things. But one of the things that I really want to talk about was oh, I already said that I talked about it with the guys, so let me just show you this. Okay, so the reason I am okay, one second, trying to right. Okay, anyways, the reason I wanted to show this is because it came out not too long ago, and not only has there been a ton of controversy about it, but I also wanted to get my thoughts out because Jesus Christ, the company just it feels like the company just messed up so badly on this one when they could have had a gold mine. So let me start by saying, a while back, if you remember from when on my original channel, when me and the guys were doing a podcast, we were talking about this in particular. I said how it looked great, how the Switch 2 looked like it could be the next big thing, how my gut feeling was saying that unlike the Wii U, this was going to be something. This was going to be spectacular. It was going to be the best thing there was. Nintendo, why do you make me eat my words? Why did you literally just have me shove my own foot up my mouth? Because the console itself, fantastic. The console itself seems like it could have so much stuff to it, but unfortunately, the company itself, everything going on with Nintendo is terrible right now. Because let me start off by saying one of the allegations I can completely understand was not entirely true, and there was some what's the word felicity towards it, and that was the fact that if you get a pre-owned cartridge that obviously some people are saying that the console itself would get bricked. Now I know when you first hear that you think that this is going to be terrible. That means that you can't play any pre-owned games. You can't just go into GameStop, grab a game, and then come back and just act like nothing happens. In all honesty, that would suck. But at the very least, we are being told that the reason behind this is actually because some people out there would buy a game, would take the data from the game, put it onto an SD card, and then just kind of use a makeshift Switch cartridge like device in order to actually play the game on there. Now, the thing about that is that the each one of the cartridges have a specific serial number to it. No two are always going to be the same. And in cases like this, it definitely shows that the two cartridges are going to have the exact same number. So with Nintendo, they see that, they flag it. And right now, as far as I know, I heard that they're taking some more caution in to try and do this so that way they don't wrongfully flag somebody who does actually own the game. But that's not the only issue this thing has. Because, first of all, it's the fact that anything can brick this thing. Okay, if you're somebody out there who took the time to actually try and fix a lot of the Joy-Con drift that was happening with this, you can say goodbye to that because one small little misstep and console is bricked. It's no longer sending a complete signal from the controller to the actual gaming device, so it's going to be bricked up. It's going to take that as a wrongful doing. Um, let's see what else was there. Yeah, if you use any kind of third-party controller, it gets bricked up. So anything that's not Nintendo is going to make this whole entire thing completely useless, and that sucks for me because I have a GameCube controller that has like the Sonic logo. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but for a while during the original Switch, there was a time when there were controllers out there that had the Mario, Luigi, Peach, even Zelda and Metroid symbol on a GameCube controller. It was more or less, if I remember correctly, third party. I don't think Nintendo had anything to do with it. And to me, that's terrifying because that means that if I try to use those controllers for the GameCube setting, my consoles, my whole entire thing is it's going to become useless just because I want to use an actual controller. It may not have been the official GameCube controller that Nintendo is selling, but that means that the money I spent on the controller as well as the console itself gone down the drain. Can never happen again. Um, if anything, I can probably, if I can still use GameCube on my original Switch, which I haven't touched in a long time, honestly, but if I can use GameCube games for the original Switch, at the very least, I can use the controller for it. And that's not too much of an issue. But again, this is all talking about the Switch 2. And, God, honestly, just thinking about the fact that you do anything with this thing, and there's a high possibility that it gets bricked. Literally, if you put in your password wrong once, who knows, maybe there's a chance it gets bricked up again. And again, it's not the console's fault itself, it's the branding, it's Nintendo themselves. Because they would rather you spend money on them rather than on just whatever. And that's extremely disappointing because that's basically saying that Nintendo doesn't really care so much about the fan base that they have. It's more the fact that they're willing to just sacrifice all of that just to keep up, just so that way they can make money themselves. And I'm not here to say Nintendo is greedy. I fucking a lot of consoles are doing stuff where if you buy their exact stuff, it works great for the system because it was meant for the system. Whereas anything third party could easily mess up. But when the stuff for the system itself messes up more times than a third party can, I'm sorry, that's when you mess up. That's when you mess up as a company. And I'm not exactly excited about this, and I do not see much of anything out. And the worst part is that after me and the others kind of hung out, we got something to eat, we walked around like we usually do. Afterwards, we were talking about it, and I told them I will go to a Walmart because a friend of mine had to go and use the restroom, and you know, there was a Walmart nearby. So why not? So I told them, while I'm at Walmart, I was gonna go to electronics and I was gonna go see what was going on with this. I walked back there, and at first I see three of them on the top shelf in a row. And I think, okay, there's three there. There's one on the bottom shelf. I guess not too bad when you think about it like that. But then I see another three behind the first ones on the top shelf, and I just think, Jesus Christ, I really gotta go and see. I really gotta go to another store and see what's going on here because if for any reason I go to another Walmart and I see even another seven, maybe even just let's say another four even. If I see them just neatly there, like nothing is going on, I cannot in good faith believe that Nintendo is still like getting what they can. I've seen some people on here talk about how Nintendo is not being truthful with the amount they've sold. That the company themselves are saying they sold over 5 million, even 6 million copies. But the thing about it is that some of the paperwork, they're saying that the paperwork shows that they haven't even sold that much. They've sold only a small fraction. They've shipped out that much, and they expected to sell so much, but just nothing. And if that's true, that's extremely sad because I'm still over here being loyal to the Switch 1 console that I got back in 2017. I'm still loyal to that thing, even though there was the light, even though there was the OLED, even though the original even got a remake before any of that. Yeah, I'm just not excited for Switch 2 anymore like I used to be. And a lot of it is because of the bad publicity that's around it. And not only that, a lot of it is also because nowadays, when it comes to the Direct, all I see with the Direct is just what's there. Like back then, when it came to stuff like the 3DS, when it came to the Wii and all that kind of stuff, there wasn't. I don't think they were calling them Directs back then, but it was still the fact that both Reggie, I believe Miyamoto, and God, I hate the fact that my brain can never remember a person's name when I need it. Either way, the three heads of the company from all these areas, they were up there. They were actually advertising it. They were actually showing the games and then just diving into the world. Basically, just acting like they were always a part of it. And they had fun with it. That, that's what really sold a lot of people. These guys had fun trying to advertise these games, trying to sell you on what you could do. Nowadays, it's like the company is just saying, just show clips of the game. It'll just sell itself, right? Won't be that big of an issue. Like, sure, the game can sell itself. Like, you give some good screenshots of what's going on, you actually show some legitimate gameplay and not just some cutscenes. Yeah, you'll have people hooked, but there's no pizzazz. There's no art to it, really. I don't want to sound like a snob. I don't want to make it sound like, how do I say? I don't want to say make it sound like I know exactly how to fix anything or how to do any of this stuff. I'm saying that the way they used to do it, the way the other guys used to do it, it brought so much life to what was going on. But nowadays, it's just we wait for the direct to happen, we see what's coming out, we're either excited for it or we're not. And, the world just keeps turning, I guess. But yeah, I'm not excited for it. If anything, a lot of the games that are coming out, I'm just hoping that the good ones are still going to be for the original Switch. And make sure I'm pressing the right button here. And that actually brings me up to this one, Pokemon Legends ZA. Honestly, I gotta say, if you actually went over and you saw my Twitch from earlier, the one that is just kind of casually up here, I play a lot of Power World nowadays. And a large part of that is because Power World is so fun. It's open world, there's nothing really stopping you from doing a lot. And even the monsters, like, don't get me wrong, the monsters are simple design. They only have the one stage. Whereas Pokemon, you get something cute like a Totodile and it becomes ferocious like a Feraligatr later on. And then not only that, but there's also the Megastones, there's also the uh, Z moves from Aloha. I swear my brain is just getting fried right now trying to think of names and words. Fucking. That's just it. Pokemon has been around for so long, and yes, a lot of people like it. Yes, I love it. My first games was actually silver and gold. Back when it was just silver and gold, not hard gold, not soul silver, nothing like that. When it was the original Square cartridges. Those are my first ones. And then afterwards, I ended up playing red and blue. And then when the remakes came out, I played the fire red still. I'm always gonna be a Charmander person, honestly. But yeah, it's if anything, I'm not too excited for what goes on, because first of all, the things going on between Pokemon and Power World. If Pokemon can just leave Power World alone, hell, in my opinion, if Pokemon were to try and talk to Power World, talk to developers, and say like, "Hey, we would like to try and get your game over onto our console," because you know what? They did exactly that with Temtem. And you know what? Power World is getting a lot better publicity than Temtem did. Because the people who are making Power World, they are actually keeping to their promises. Whereas Temtem, it kind of just fell off. Alright, there are some people on YouTube who are talking about how the game isn't doing so good and some of the updates just kind of fell off without actually promising much to it. And I think that's just it. I think if uh, I think if Pokemon tried to talk to Power World and just see what they could have done together, it could have worked out well. It could have worked out extremely nice to the point to where, you know, where we have Pokemon, this light-hearted kind of thing where it's like catch a creature, become its friend and everything, and just all of these simple adventures. And then Power World is where a lot of the more grown-ups grow in order to actually do a lot of stuff like shoot these creatures, to go on hunting, uh, to just go off and just kill, basically. Because in Pokemon, I'm sorry, I thought I heard some. Because in Pokemon, there is no kill. There is only ever fainting. And, that's a safe way to play it. Whereas in Power Worlds, yeah, the creatures look like they're fainted, but they still drop like meat and everything. They still drop like body parts. So can't really say they're fainted if you're taking limbs from them. I'm still I'm still thinking about getting Legends ZA for the Switch One, just mainly because as much as I don't like Pokemon, the company right now, I still do miss a lot of the actual Pokemons, like Absol here, for example. I still miss him. I still want to play the actual official games. I still want to see what's going on with the characters and do the customizations for them. I don't care much for like the low graphics or anything. Like if I ever cared about low graphics, I don't know. I just would not be playing anything related to Pokemon right now because the Switch 2, it's got the high graphics and everything, but it's a total risk in doing anything. And I probably wouldn't mind getting an OLED if the Pokemon Company hadn't actually raised the pricing on that as well. But just whatever, I guess. Like, I'm perfectly fine with the weird, almost shitty way that the windows look. However, you want to talk about that. Because I know I've heard even Woods from Beat 'em Ups talk about how the windows on the buildings for this game, that they're not really like high graphics or anything. It's more or less just like somebody went to MS Paint and then just put them over a building. And that was it. I don't care. I don't look too much into the details like that. I'm just here for the Pokemon. I'm here for the adventure. I'm here for the customizing outfits and everything to make my character look as cool as possible. I'm here for the story. I'm not here for the high chain graphics. I'm not here for the really well made special effects or anything. If I was, I probably would not enjoy the games as much. But, you know, whatever really happens, I guess. Yeah, I keep making sure I press the right thing. Because the last thing I want to talk about is this. Because ever since I heard about it, before even the announcements for the Switch 2, I'm still very much hoping to get Tomodachi Life because I still want to go back and play this. I still want this game to be part of my life. Because ever since I played it on the DS, I was hooked. I was all in for it. And honestly, I'm still remembering about the fact that all they did for the God, was it the Metopia? Metopia was great, no, but it was only meant for the Sora mode. It wasn't really meant to like do much after that, except just constantly coming in for daily missions and all that. So it's fine, but Tomodachi Life, that's really where things are going to be. That's, in my opinion, that really is where a lot of the gameplay is going to be when it comes to this kind of stuff. And if you can do customizations in that like you did for Metopia, that'd actually be fantastic. You can literally live next to Kratos, to the hell of a boss characters, to just even Sonic, without it being just like a weird character with blue hair, or I should say with dark hair that you have to spray paint blue, and a weird pair of sunglasses raised so far up on his face. And it's also coming for the Switch 1. Yay. Like, I know I'm saying a lot of this, like, it's, how do I say? Like, I'm being an ass. Really. By saying, yay, these games are coming for the Switch 1, and I don't have to go off and buy a Switch 2. Let me say this because I told the guys earlier today about it, and I still think it fits here in this kind of narrative. The way I see things is if Nintendo keeps going the way they are right now, what's gonna happen is they're gonna fall off harder than Sega did. And let me point that out because a lot of people probably don't remember this, but Sega, they kind of fell off when they had the Sega Saturn. That was the game that really did them in because not many people grabbed it, not many games were for it, as far as I remember. There was just so much against it. But Sega still came back the next generation with the Sega Dreamcast. And even though that one didn't do too well, and a lot of people were skeptic about getting it because of the Saturn, it's still the fact that they still lasted for at least one more generation and got things like Sonic Adventure out there. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have Sonic Adventure, we wouldn't have Sonic Adventure 2. Who knows where the franchise would have gone with all of that. But yeah, um, Nintendo, I think if they don't change the way they are, the Switch 2 is kind of going to be the last thing. They're not going to be able to get to the next generation of console. If they don't lower the pricings, if they don't fix their user agreement, any of that stuff, by let's give them, let's say of July 2026. If they don't fix it by then, I'm sorry, the console isn't going to have much of a life anymore. Because people are already talking. People online are already trying to say, are already trying to prevent other people from trying to go off and uh, get the console because, like I said earlier, anything can break it up. Anything can make this console completely useless. And that is the scary part. The fact that you spend almost $500 with the Mario bundle, or just 450 for just the console. You spend so much money that that's not cheap anymore. Like, a lot of that money is something you would have to save up for at least like a month or two. which is why I was so surprised they just plopped it right on down. They literally only gave you like 2 months to try and prepare for it before it hit shelves. Then maybe that was it. Maybe they knew something wasn't going to be right with the console on the way out, so they changed their user agreements. They made preparations for in case things happened. Who knows? I can't tell what Nintendo is thinking anymore. And with the way a lot of these pricings are going to be, I'm just gonna say I don't think they're gonna last. I don't think they're gonna last as long as they want to. And like I said with Pokemon, if for some reason Nintendo is also helping out the Pokemon company try and fight against Power World, yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. Because here's the thing, I've heard so many people talk about the lawsuit between Pokemon Company and Power World, and the thing about it is that the way the Pokemon Company usually do it is they basically try to sue, and then they wait it out until the smaller company has almost nothing left to try and actually pay for. That their money just up and runs dry. And as evil as that sounds, it is a strategy. But right now, that's a strategy that can also work against them. Because unless a lot of this stuff really takes off, they're not going to last too much longer in court themselves. Because what do they have right now? Right now, they have people subscribing for the Pokemon Sleep as well as the Pokemon TCG. And even the TCG got hit hard recently because of the Ho and Lugia thing. So they really had to backpedal just to make sure nobody came after them for that, even, which can also be used in a court against them for Power World if anybody tries. And yeah, Nintendo. I'm hoping, if anything, if Nintendo does go under for whatever reason, I'm not hoping they do. I'm not expecting them to. I'm still hoping that they fix all their stuff when they can before anything really happens like that. But in the off chance they do, because I'm only 70% sure that this is going to be the outcome within the next year or so, it could be that they're going to have to go off and do like Sega did and just become a software company instead of a hardware company. So, I'll say it now, and I am hoping I'm wrong. I am very much hoping this doesn't happen, but could be by next October, we could start seeing Pokemon games in Steam on the PlayStation 5, on the Xbox. We could start seeing Mario Kart in those consoles as well. I'm not hoping for it, but you know, the company isn't gonna. If the company doesn't make back a lot of the money that they made for trying to do this, because if I remember correctly, the stuff that they did for building the Switch 2, if it's true and they basically spent like $500 to make even a single one, then that projection of 5 million that they couldn't meet is going to really, really hurt them to the point to where putting their games out in a public place like Steam or even Xbox, that can be the only way to help them. So, yeah, I'm excited for the games still to come out. I do want to try and play them because they are still coming out for the original Switch. I never got rid of mine, but you know, at some point I'm not gonna be happy, but I will be saying "I told you so" to a lot of people if it turns out that Sega can't keep their IP directly to their own consoles. And it's gonna be sad to see to see such a towering thing fall, but at that point, I can't say I'm going to be entirely disappointed because Xbox and PlayStation, they're already working together, and as far as I know, the next Xbox Ally is going to be able to let you play some PlayStation games on there, which means it's just one step closer until the console wars are entirely over. At the end of the day, it's either going to be a joint thing with all these consoles, or it's, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, so I can't make a secondary guess. I'm just hoping that there will be a time when people will still look at things like the Switch, at the 64, at all these things, and just not see something of a remnant of what what once was. Something that was a shining light up until certain events. But yeah, until the future comes to be, I will see you all later.